Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and the Call of Duty Zombies comic issue number 2 has just come out, and at the end of the last page, the very last thing we get is a brand new loading screen from an old map that we had back in Black Ops 1, and you guess it from the title and from the gameplay, yes, this is going to be Ascension. So we're going to be taking a look at this new picture and breaking it all down in this video. Now, if you guys do enjoy this video or you find it interesting, make sure to hit that like button, guys. We're going to aim for 115 likes on this video, and that would definitely mean a lot to me. Now, before we get really in-depth and get into the breakdown of this, I'm going to show you guys the images side by side for those of you who have never either played Ascension or didn't really pay a lot of attention to the loading screen, just to get everybody on the same page and a little refresher. I'm going to show you guys right now the side-by-side images so you can at least compare them, and you can see the old one on the left and then the new one on the right. Now, for a little bit of background information into the story of Ascension, this was focusing on the Russian Cosmodrome, and it featured a couple different characters such as Yuri Zavoisky and Dr. Gersh, which we did see in Garad Krovi. Now, these were the main two people in Ascension, and this is what the story mainly focused on within the map. Now, what happened in Ascension was that Yuri Zavoisky was very upset and frustrated with Dr. Gersh because he would not let him work with him on the big project, which was known as Project Mercury. So he was pretty angry at Gersh, but he was, holding his emotions back. But then eventually Samantha got around to him, and she was basically influencing his mind in order to trick Gersh and to, I guess, get revenge on him. So what he ended up doing was he went over to Gersh and basically tricked him into turning on his own device. We can see the Gersh device as that little blue portal, or the purple portal within Ascension itself. You can get it out of the mystery box. This was an invention of Gersh's, and he got it turned on himself, which sucked him up into the portal and created him as the wisp that we see in the Ascension Easter egg. And also, not to mention, we see him in Garad Krovi as well in the exact same form. But in Garad, we find out that Gersh has been traveling the void and been in this ethereal form for a long time, and he's just now finally finding the city of Stalingrad, where we meet up with him at, and Sophia. So what happens is, when we're doing the Easter egg, Sophia data extracts him, and she kind of sucks him up into that little thing, and then we hear Gersh scream, and we don't hear from him again. So presumably he's dead. We aren't really exactly too sure what his fate was, but we know that he was sucked up into that, and that's really all we know. So with that said, and with that information in mind, let's go ahead and take again a look at the first loading screen for Ascension. This is the original one. This isn't the brand new one that we got. This is the original. So as we can see right here, we have a scientist on the left, and this appears to be Yuri. We think this is Yuri anyway. We aren't really sure exactly who it is. It's not labeled or specified or anything like that. My best guess is that this would probably be Yuri working on the rocket test, but again, I can't really confirm that. And then the second image or the second frame we have there is rockets, and you can see that these are most clearly the Ascension rockets, and the shadows spelling out 115, which is interesting in and of itself. And then down here at the bottom of the page, it looks like what is to be rocket schematics, and this is going to be important for when the other picture, when we look at the second one, that's going to be important, so keep that in mind. We've got some rocket schematics at the bottom, and then finally in the fourth picture, we have somebody who's stepping through a teleporter and going somewhere. Now, I think this maybe represents Gersh going into his ethereal form and kind of just treading the void for a long time, as he quoted, but it does look like the person from the first picture, so if that was true, then maybe the first person is Gersh and not Yuri. I'm not really sure, but maybe if that is Yuri, then I don't really know what that would represent if he's traveling through some sort of portal. Maybe that'd be like Samantha twisting his thoughts. I don't know. It's not even really that important. The important thing is that we can note the differences between this picture and the next one. Now, just taking one glance at this picture, and you can already tell this is very, very reminiscent of the original Ascension loading screen, but we see different people. On the left hand, we see Dr. Mani, and on the right hand, we see a Keeper. Trust me, we're going to go down into the in-depth versions of these, but I just want you to kind of just take this as it is for right now. While you digest that picture really quick, let's think about one thing. This isn't necessarily a remake or a different version of a loading screen that we usually get in the traditional sense. When we got Moon, it was just very slightly ever so altered. Like, it was barely even that different. It just had a couple different details switched around in it, like the astronauts being turned around and things like that. And similarly with the Nuketown loading screen, we didn't get anything really changed. However, we just got a new perspective on what it actually looks like. We got a better field of view, and we could see a whole lot more, and we could even see like higher definitions such as name tags, and I guess just a better picture of what's going around. So just keep in mind, when we look at this picture, doesn't even really have any elements from Ascension. I mean, yes, it's kind of modeled after it, but we don't see any like Ascension elements such as Dr. Gersh or Yuri in these things. These are all things from the Black Ops 3 timeline, so just kind of keep that in mind as we look at this. Now, just like we did with the other picture, we're going to analyze this one going from left to right. So as you guys can see, we have Dr. Mani in his perfect world setting. Just look at the scenery behind him, and then he's also sketching something on this table, and if you look at it very closely, you can see exactly what that is. This happens just to be the schematics, the paper scraps in the giant that have the summoning key with the KN-44 inside it, which we still don't really know why that was a thing. We don't know why Dr. Monty decided to put that particular weapon in the summoning key. Regardless, I think it's very, very interesting how we have Dr. Monty sketching that in his perfect world, and we can see him in his original clothing with the scarf and everything like that. So this is clear Monty in his perfect world, and everything seems to be going according to plan. Now, going over to the second image, this is interesting as well because we have the rockets just like we have in the original picture. However, this time they are different designed rockets, and they don't spell out 115 in the shadows anymore. And I don't know if you guys took note or paid attention to the design of the Ascension rockets, but if you take a look at the brand new picture and compare it to the old one, these rockets are different. The Ascension rockets in the original one are the ones that we see within the map, but in the new one, as you guys can tell right here, these are actually the rockets from Der Eisendrache. Now, in the third picture, this I think is the biggest contrast from the original one because we see somebody looking into the Gobblegum machine, and this is probably most likely Samantha. This is pretty clearly her, and the thing is, it's really weird because in Black Ops 3, we didn't really hear or see Samantha too much at all. I thought we were going to see her a lot more than we really did, but it was pretty much all at the end with Revelations and all the new trailers and cutscenes that we got. That was the majority of Samantha's story time, I guess, for Black Ops 3, and it's really interesting that we're seeing her right now, and she's looking into a Gobblegum machine, obviously full of Dr. Monty gumballs. Now, the way I interpret this is entirely speculation, and nobody really knows exactly what this means right now, but what kind of came to my mind when I saw this was maybe Samantha gave Dr. Monty some advice or gave him an idea of what to put to help our characters out. And you know, obviously little kids like candy, and if she suggested gumballs to him, maybe he was the one who took, you know, maybe gumballs are a good idea, but he's going to attach some really cool powers to them, and I think that's definitely a possibility. I would like to think that it's something along those lines, but I'm not really sure. It could mean something else entirely. If you guys have any ideas about what that third picture could represent or the way you interpret it, let me know in the comments down below, but this is just what I think about it, you know, just kind of how I see it and perceive that. So moving on to the last picture here, we have something which is very reminiscent of the Ascension one. This is probably the most close we're going to get to the original, and this is somebody walking through the teleporter, same as they did in the original, but as you can see, this is an entirely different person going through space and time, and this happens to be a keeper. Interesting fact about the keepers is that their ability allows them to travel through space and time relatively easily, and they can build bridges between dimensions and universes, so potentially this is what's going on here, and the keeper developed a bridge between, you know, some two alternate worlds, whatever they might be. It doesn't really give us any context as to what he's connecting or traveling through, but I thought that was interesting. Maybe this is the connection between all the multiverses. Again, that's just my interpretation, but nobody really knows for certain right now. Everybody is just, you know, it's up to their guess right now. So let me know if you have a different opinion on that in the comments below as well. Now, taking a look at the last blueprint, I told you this is going to be important. Taking a look at the last blueprint on the second image, we see a dragon. This is no longer rocket schematics. This is literally a dragon being developed or being created. Now, we know Division 9 was developing these dragons for the Russians to use on the war front, and obviously we see these in Gorod Krovi and sort of being developed in Zetsubel, as we saw like Dragon Egg just kind of laying around and that sort of thing, but in Gorod was when we saw their full effect, but now we can see a schematic from these dragons. So either this is a Division 9 paper, or maybe it seems like since Dr. Monty is such a schematics and blueprint oriented kind of guy, maybe he gave the potential or the possibility to Division 9 to develop these dragons, right? He made it possible for these things to become a reality, and that's why we're seeing right here in these blueprints. Division 9 actually made them, but maybe they got the inspiration or the tools and the know-how from Dr. Monty himself. Either way, I think it's very interesting how they threw that in there. Now, what does all this mean? What does this whole Ascension new poster mean? Well, number one, I think that with every single comic release, we're going to be getting some old map and its loading screen remade and kind of revamped with these new Black Ops 3 elements is what I would have my best guess as. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see how that goes, but this is our second one we've got, so we're 2 for 2 right now. And from what I would tell you right now, do I think this is going to be like an Ascension remake or this is guaranteeing it? No. I don't think this is, you know, 100% proof, but maybe it is, you know, I guess just foreshadowing it, but I wouldn't say right now that this is concrete evidence. I think that right now they're just trying to go back and tell us to rethink about the way we perceive the story as it is and to kind of think about it from a broader perspective. Watch, I'm going to say that, and then right after I upload this video, Treyarch is going to announce that they're releasing an Ascension remake. Don't get your hopes up just yet, and don't think that this is confirmation of like an Ascension remake for Black Ops 3 or whatever. It's still a possibility. I'm not counting it out just yet, but don't say it's 100% confirmed until we get some more information. But regardless, I'm really glad that they made this thing, and I think it's very interesting, and I'm excited to see in the future editions of the CoD Zombies comic what future remakes of these loading screens that we're going to get next. What do you guys think we're going to get next in the future ones? I'm not really sure. Hopefully we get some World at War ones coming up very soon as well. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to be all I have for you today. today. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you guys did enjoy this or find this interesting, and also not to mention, you guys need to follow me on Twitter if you don't already. It will be down below in the description. Go ahead with that follow, guys. We're almost at 5,000, and when there's any super important information that just dropped that I need to bring to you guys, Twitter will be the first to get notified. You know exactly when I post a video, know exactly when I live stream, anything like that. Go follow me on Twitter, guys. Like I said, link will be down below in the description. If you don't have a Twitter, go ahead and make one. They're absolutely free to make, and it's just a way for you guys to connect with me outside of YouTube and away from videos and streams and that sort of stuff. It's just very, very easy for the both of us. So that's going to be pretty much it for today. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Leave your thoughts on this photo in the comment section down below, and if you guys are new to the channel, also don't forget to subscribe if you guys did enjoy this kind of stuff and want to see more of this. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video.